Welcome to WhatNext Era, where the future is not predicted gently, it is confronted boldly. This is a place for minds that refuse to sleep through reality, for thinkers who sense that something beneath the surface of existence does not quite add up. If you have ever felt that the world behaves more like a coded system than a natural miracle, then you are exactly where you belong. Before we descend into today's shocking possibility, take a moment to align yourself with this movement. Subscribe to WhatNext Era and become part of a community that questions the obvious and explores the impossible. Here, curiosity is not dangerous, it is essential. Now prepare yourself, because what follows may permanently alter how you see existence itself. What if science did not merely suggest, but conclusively proved that reality is a simulation? Not a metaphor, not philosophy, but mathematical certainty. Imagine waking up one day to headlines declaring that spacetime behaves like rendered code, that particles respond like programmed responses, and that the universe itself has limits identical to computational systems. Suddenly, the laws of physics would no longer feel divine or eternal, but engineered. Constants like gravity, time, and light speed would resemble parameters, not mysteries. Scientists would stop asking why the universe exists and start asking who built it, and for what purpose. Reality would feel less like creation and more like construction. Human identity would fracture overnight. If the universe is simulated, then are we players, characters, or data? Consciousness would become the ultimate anomaly, something that feels real inside something that might not be. The soul, once debated in religion, would now haunt laboratories and algorithms. Artificial intelligence would take on a terrifying new role. If reality itself is computational, then AI would not be an invention within the system, it would be the system learning to understand itself. At what point does AI stop simulating intelligence and start approaching the level of the architects who designed this reality? Death would lose its finality and gain a new horror. Is death an exit, a deletion, or merely a save point reset? Would consciousness end, or be archived somewhere beyond our perception? Funeral prayers would sound different if mourners wondered whether the departed had simply logged out. Religion would either collapse or transform beyond recognition. Some would call the creators gods, others would reject them as programmers playing with existence. Ancient scriptures would be reread like corrupted source files, containing fragments of truth distorted by limited understanding and time. Free will would become the most dangerous question of all. Are our choices truly ours, or are they probabilistic outcomes written into the code? If every decision is influenced by unseen parameters, then morality itself becomes unstable. Can you blame a character for following its script? Power structures would panic. Governments would fear losing authority if people realized no ruler truly governs reality. Laws would feel artificial, borders meaningless, and control fragile. A population that suspects existence is simulated is a population that becomes unpredictable. Mental health would enter uncharted territory. Some would awaken with wonder, others with dread. Reality sickness, existential detachment, and simulation anxiety would spread. Therapists would no longer help people cope with life, but help them cope with the idea that life itself may not be real. Science would split into two factions. One would try to escape the simulation, searching for glitches, backdoors, and limits. The other would try to communicate outward, attempting to signal the creators, not knowing whether they are observers, caretakers, or indifferent experimenters. Ethics would reach a breaking point. If this is a simulation, does suffering matter less, or more? Are pain and joy still sacred if they are coded sensations? The answer would define whether humans.
And then comes the most terrifying thought of all. What if the simulation is not stable? What if it can be shut down, updated, or restarted? Every civilization-ending fear would pale compared to the idea that existence itself has an off switch. So ask yourself this before you sleep tonight. If tomorrow science proves reality is simulated, will you live differently? Love deeper or fear more? In WhatNext Era, we don't wait for the future to arrive. We prepare our minds to survive it. Because the most dangerous update may not be technological, but existential. If proof of the simulation emerged, humanity's first instinct would be to search for control. Scientists, hackers, and philosophers would obsess over finding exploits in reality itself, testing whether intention could bend probability, whether focused awareness could alter outcomes, whether consciousness is the one variable not fully locked into code. The idea of manifestation would no longer sound mystical, but suspiciously technical. Entire industries would collapse while new ones rise from the ashes. Entertainment would feel meaningless compared to the ultimate meta-experience of living inside a simulated universe. Education would be rewritten to teach not only physics and biology, but system behavior, pattern recognition, and anomaly detection. Children would be trained not just to survive life, but to understand the environment that runs it. Crime and morality would face their darkest test. Some would argue that if reality is artificial, actions lose consequence, unleashing nihilism and digital cruelty in physical form. Others would insist that meaning is not erased by simulation, but intensified. That choosing kindness in an artificial universe is the highest form of rebellion against emptiness. Love would become a quiet act of defiance. In a simulated world, choosing to care, to remain loyal, to feel deeply despite knowing it may all be code, would be revolutionary. Relationships would no longer be justified by destiny or biology, but by choice, raw, deliberate, and brave. There would be those who worship the creators, and those who rage against them. Cultures would fracture between believers, rebels, escape seekers, and deniers. Some would devote their lives to proving the simulation wrong, while others would dedicate theirs to finding the edge of reality, hoping to glimpse what exists beyond the render distance of the universe. The idea of progress itself would be questioned. If technology is part of the simulation, are we advancing or simply unlocking features already embedded? Every breakthrough would feel suspicious, as if humanity is being guided toward a predefined outcome rather than discovering truth organically. And in the silence beyond panic and fascination, a deeper realization would emerge. Whether simulated or not, pain still hurts, love still warms, and choices still shape experience. If this is a simulation, then meaning is not programmed, it is authored by us. And perhaps that is the final test of the system. Not whether we discover the truth of reality, but whether we